T-minus 10 minutes. T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes. T-minus 7 minutes. T-minus 6 minutes. minus 5 minutes. Minus for minutes. Minus 3 minutes. Minus 2 minutes. Minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Ooh, boy. Welcome to the RP Show, everybody. Hi, it's going to be a very spooky show. I hope you're ready for it. Oh, yeah. Get ready for this. USA only in hour one. They're telling me. Hour two, USA and Nevada on the Silver State Sports Entertainment Network. Preempted in Canada. Ta-da! Get your screenshots. Get your photos of the TV. Get them now. Because I'm not... Growing up is optional. Just so you know, growing up is optional. Happy Halloween, Kev. Although he's frozen already, we're off to a great start. Why is Kevin the medium? There he is. In Mexico. What's going on, Kev? Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. I didn't think that you would have taken a Halloween costume to Mexico with you. So, yeah, here I've handled it for both of us on a very big day. Very big day. Are you ready to get going? Get down to. Are you ready to get serious?
Get serious.
As serious as I am. Okay, let's go. Here we go, everybody. It is the Quick Six Show topics, the big story. I'm not even ready for this, as you see. Now I am. The Toronto Blue Jays, even though it's Football Friday, come on, the big story is the World Series. The Toronto Blue Jays will try to wrap up their first World Series title since 1993 when they host the LA Dodgers in Game 6 tonight. Dodgers counting on prolonging this thing with their star pitcher Yoshinobu Yamamoto as they look to stay alive. He's 3-1 with a 1.57 ERA in these playoffs. Toronto responding with Kevin Gausman, who is 2-2 with a 2.55 ERA. It was 1 week ago, Kev, at the outset of this series that I said last week, Blue Jays in 6. That was before Game 1, because people are saying that I was jumping on the bandwagon. You saw that. No. 10 a.m. Mountain on last Friday, I said Blue Jays in 6. They can do it tonight. Refresh my memory. What did you say was your prediction a week ago?
Yes.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah. We're not going to be able to do this. Throw up that second box if you have to.
I said 5, and I remember being 6. And so here we go. It's Game 6.
Yeah.
I have a feeling we're going to...
Yeah, we can't do this. So whatever you were doing yesterday or last week, Kevin, do it again. That's most unfortunate. But you know what? We're preempted because of pickleball in Canada. They're watching pickleball on Game Plus across Canada and across the USA. They're like, what the hell is coming out of our screens right now? Yeah. So in the absence of Kevin the Medium from the Hughes Sports Podcast, let me get a couple of viewer comments in here. Yeah, John Ohm. How do you like us so far? Says the wild witch from the south. Rod. Yeah, that's me. Listen, I can obviously handle this whole first hour on my own if we have to. I didn't plan on doing that. But I'll say this again. 1 week ago, Kevin confirmed that I predicted Blue Jays in 6. That could happen tonight. He said Blue Jays in 5. And that is our poll question for EMJ Marketing, by the way, EMJ Speakers Bureau. Who wouldn't want me to come out and speak at your event dressed like this, along with Stu Grimson or Jim Barker or Rachel Holman, a variety of public speakers? Oh, yeah, let's bring him in. Sure. EMJ Marketing, from impactful speakers to strategic marketing. EMJ Marketing is your all-in-one solution. Visit them at emjmarketing.com. The poll question is, when will the Blue Jays win the World Series? Game 6? Game 7, or they won't. And the majority of respondents are saying Game 6 tonight. It will end, and then it's split between Game 7 or they won't. What are your thoughts on the game tonight, Kev? I don't know that I can handle them going to Game 7. I don't know if this ticker's got it in me.
You know what? I'm 61. I know this ticker hasn't got it in me. I need them to win tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're going to be watching tonight?
Yes. We're actually going to go down to the local watering hole called Jax, Jax, and we're going to be watching it from the waterfront. It should be cool.
Your whatever you did, your feed is perfect now. So thank you for doing that. Joe
Excellent.
writes in. He says, "Go Jays, go." BC Eric writes in. He says, "Football Friday, let's go RP. Roar Lions, roar." Listen, we got a lot of CFL talk coming up after the break, so just hold on to your horses. And I shared this with Kev. The BC Lions sent me a photo of us up in their offices yesterday, and I said to them, "Hey, I picked you to win. I picked you guys to win, BC." And they got a big bang out of that. They love the RP show with the BC Lions. I think it's because of Kevin the Medium. But I want to tell some stories. I want to tell a few stories later on about my night last night where I was announcing the seniors night at Cardinal Gibbons High School for the football club last night. They said it was their best seniors night ever. I had nothing to do with that, but it was nice to be a part of it. And I spent the night hanging out with football officials. I got some great stories, Kev. But before we break in this opening segment here, and I'll thank you again for getting your stuff sorted out, there is breaking news from the NFL. On the heels of the Thursday nighter last night where Lamar Jackson threw for 204 yards and 4 touchdowns, showing little rust in his return from a right hamstring strain, the Ravens routed the Dolphins 28-6. This morning, the owner of the Dolphins, Stephen Ross, announced they are mutually parting ways with the general manager, Chris Grier. Now, he's the brother of San Jose Sharks general manager, Mike Grier. Chris Grier has been the GM here for quite some time. This is shocking to everybody. I'll handle this, Kev, because I know you're not the biggest NFL fan and certainly not a Miami Dolphins fan. But this has been the talk around here since last year when the Dolphins missed the playoffs on the final game of the regular season. Before our head hit the pillow on that Sunday night, Stephen Ross sent out a news release saying that he was retaining Chris Grier, the general manager, and the head coach, Mike McDaniel. They were ready to burn the town down then. That was less than a year ago. Now they're 1-whatever. They got routed last night at home. They were 0-6 now, I think, on Thursday nights under Mike McDaniel. So Chris Grier fired. Mike McDaniel will coach the rest of the season for the Dolphins. And I was listening to the radio this morning. Joe Rose, everybody hears me talk about Joe Rose. He's almost crying on the air. And I realize why he gets away with what he says, criticizing the Dolphins, because you can tell he loves them so much. He used to play for them. He does the color on the radio. He was almost crying at how the sad state of this football team. And hours later, they fired Chris Grier, the general manager, today. So they have an interim GM. I don't know who he is, but that's the breaking news out of the NFL today. So I'll just re-up for those that just tuned in. It's Halloween, if you didn't notice. We're preempted in Canada. What a day to be preempted on Game Plus TV in Canada for pickleball. But that's fine. That's our overlords, Game Plus. We answer to them, but we are live across the United States, 32 U.S. states, talking about a variety of things. We'll be right back with all of those. NFL Week 9, CFL Playoffs, NHL, NBA. We'll be right back. Kevin the Medium joining us from Mexico. We're going to have a whole lot of fun diving even deeper into the CFL Playoff picture when we return. We're live on the Game Plus TV network, YouTube Live, podcast, and Mission Radio.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. The Rod Pedersen Show.
Famoso, Italian pizzeria and bar. Taste, savor, share. Famoso, the spirit of Italian. Come in, enjoy.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection, booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Back on the air, ditch the witch's hat, still have the ghost necklace, and we're ready to rock and roll on a Football Friday. Kevin the Medium joining us from Mexico. We did our CFL playoff picks yesterday for Pump Jacks. Nice hat, Kev. What's your costume? A cartel, a Mexican cartel lord?
You got it.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. We did the picks yesterday for the CFL playoffs for Pump Jacks, Steakhouse and Saloon, Pump Jacks, Cathedral, Pump Jacks, Weyburn, which, by the way, thank you, Brian from Edmonton, for stopping in Pump Jacks yesterday and showing us the clip of us talking about them yesterday. We love when you support our sponsors, everybody. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It keeps us in business. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. Let me say this again, Kev. You were in Mexico. Hope you don't mind me telling everybody it's out of the bag now. Where are you watching your sports? Like, what town are you in?
We're in Isla Mujeres, which is an island just off the coast of Cancun. It's a small little island, about a mile wide, 4 miles long. It's a beautiful place. And we're going to go to Jax, Jax, right on the beach. They have a big TV there, a couple big TVs. So we are going to go there, and we're going to watch the Blue Jays.
Okay.
Hopefully finish this off, because like you, I don't know if people heard it.
What about the CFL tomorrow? What about what about the CFL?
CFL, I'm going to be literally looking at the screen I'm looking at now, because I doubt anybody's going to show the CFL down here. So it'll be on my computer.
Okay, well, I could have found you a place, but I almost killed a man in Cozumel, Mexico. I'll say that again. I almost accidentally killed a man in Cozumel, Mexico. Thank God for medical attention, or he would be dead, and I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today. It's a story for another time. Okay, let's get into this CFL discussion. We broke it down a lot yesterday. I want to break it down more. You and I are big CFL guys here. Kevin hosts the Hughes Sports Podcast. Very popular. He'll be broadcasting from Grey Cup. By the way, you're going to be our correspondent at Grey Cup, Kev. Now you know.
Thank you.
I started reading. I told you yesterday that the game notes weren't out yet from the CFL, so I had to go in and dig up my own. And I came up with some pretty good factoids yesterday, I thought. But then I got the game notes. Yeah, but then I got the game notes, and I'm like, I'll click on this and I'll read it. Even more great stuff. Even more great stuff, Kev. Like, for instance, everybody listen up, gather around. Home teams since 1996, since the CFL's been 9 teams, Home teams in the playoffs overall are 73-39. That's a winning percentage of 651. Listen, I don't bet. Okay, I think everybody knows, not seriously, like the odd lunch or whatever, but I'm not a degenerate dropping a lot of money and stuff. But I would think that would affect what I was betting on. I wouldn't think it would be that high.
No, that number surprises me. I thought it would be I figured the home team would have the advantage, but not by that much. That's huge.
Yeah,
which just means my Lions have that big of a shot.
Well, John Bender was on here yesterday, Stampeders alum. And I think the more Kevin hosts the Hughes Sports Podcast, he's an irrational fan. But you're starting to see now why when you can knock the ball down the middle and you're not biased, it means more. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hear a fan's perspective because they're biased. And to be honest, but John is a Stamps fan, but he's also a great analyst. He wants Calgary to go in there and win. And I'll be honest, Kev, have you spent much time looking at the numbers? Like, if Calgary goes in and wins, it's not really an upset. Like, the 4.5-point spread is pretty wide. They're both going in on win streaks. Calgary's won 3 in a row. BC's won 6 in a row. These are two hot teams. Gosh, no wonder this one game of the week from our viewers.
Yeah, this one's going to be the one to watch for sure. I hope this one gets broadcast all over the U.S. so we get the more eyes on our sport, because I honestly think these two quarterbacks are going to go out there and it's going to be, I wouldn't be surprised if we see 45-48.
Bender was saying the same yesterday. John Bender said that a light show. My God, let's not build it up too much, or we're all going to be thinking it's going to be this extravaganza. They're going to be shooting off fireworks out the roof, but maybe they will be. I don't know. That's what's great about it. Which, by the way, as there's a lot of people tuned in here on YouTube because we're not live on Game Plus in Canada, we are on in the USA, and we're going to continue to talk about the CFL because that's what we do. That's why I bring Kevin on. But the gentleman that I was with, one of the guys I was with last night, football guy from here in Florida, he's like, oh, bad move, moving the games to Saturday, competing with college football. That's going to knock him off CBS Sports Network. And I'm like, bro, leave it to us. The CFL doesn't want to go against the NFL. You got to pick one. What were they going to play? Friday night? Then they would be going against Game 6 of the World Series. Like, I don't have a problem with this being on a Saturday. Do you?
Not. You know what? When they first made the change, I was bent. I was like, come on, it's Sunday. It's Sunday afternoon football. You have the party. You got to be prepared. But honestly, now that it's Saturdays, when did they change it? A few years back now?
Just a few years ago, yeah. You might remember this. You might remember this. This is what's fun when we can not go so fast on Fridays and spend more time on football and the CFL, because I love it, you love it. We did it in 2008, and you might remember this as a Lions fan because the stories are fun. You guys came in. I don't remember who your quarterback was, and I don't care. It was 2008. Ours was Michael Bishop.
Oh, okay.
He threw 4 interceptions before the first quarter was over. And if Ken Miller could have cut him at halftime, he would have. As it was, he cut him that night after the game. But anyways, you guys came in. You beat us soundly. And on there was like a last minute, I'm trying to remember, you guys knelt down at the 5. Wally was your coach. Again, it was 2008. You may remember who your quarterback was. I want to say it might have been Buck Pierce. It might have been Dave Dickinson. Again, who cares? But you kicked our ass. And I'm like, I was so mad because Wally Buono is your coach. He takes a knee to be a gentleman and a sportsman that he is. And I'm like, just put it in the end zone. But you're kicking our ass anyways. You know what I mean? And that was a Saturday. And the ratings were so bad that they went back to Sunday the next year for over another decade because they're like, oh, that didn't work. You know, but it's like, you can't just do it one year. You make it a tradition, you know. Do you remember that game?
I don't, to be honest. I do remember, I thought when I had said a few years back, I thought it was in the early 2000s they switched to Saturdays, but now it makes sense that they did do it the one time and then switched it back. Now, I wonder, how long ago? Was it 3-4 years ago that they switched it to Saturdays now?
I don't even know if it was that long ago, but what I also, and thank you, Jeff, the Stamps fan, says it was Buck Pierce. Again, it wouldn't have mattered. You could have had Joe Cap at age 70 quarterbacking against us that day because Michael Bishop didn't give us a chance. Jason in Red Deer says, better to go against the NCAA than the NFL. Hey, we know that as Canadians, but I'm talking to a bunch of Florida football people. They just, to be honest, college football here is bigger than the NFL, especially with the Dolphins sucking. I know that would be hard for anybody to believe, but it is true. Your thoughts on this? Vancouver Eric writes in, he says, beating a team 3 times will be tough. And I've always heard that adage, especially in football. And I don't know if I believe that. Like George Cortez, as you know, is a really good friend of mine, 5-time Grey Cup champion, offensive coordinator, primarily with the Calgary Stampeders. He was a guy that even though I was over in Sask and he was in Calgary, we still got along great. And, you know, he said that. I think we played Calgary 4 times, whatever year it was, and we beat them 4 times, including in the playoffs. And I'm like, it's not hard to beat it if you're better. I don't know. How do you feel about that? BC's 2-0 against Calgary. That shouldn't worry you as a Lions backer.
No. You know what? Once we hit the playoffs, you pretty much have to forget about the regular season. This is a new ball game. This is both teams are even. They're 0-0 in the playoffs. So you're going in. Yes. Do we have the advantage? Of course we do. We're at home. And we have that confidence to know that we went into their house and kicked their butt. And so will it play part? No, I don't think so. Thus I keep saying it's going to be a close score, 45-48. It's going to be that close. It could even be closer. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm sprinkling in viewer comments as we go. Tony from Cochrane writes in. He says, happy Halloween and get her done, Blue Jays. Got a lot to do today before the festivities begin. Have a great weekend. Hey, thank you, Tony. Thanks for checking in. And here's the thing with BC being 2-0 against Calgary. They were sound victories, right? Like they weren't close. And with like you're watching the way BC's playing. That's the one. They are. I'm sitting here saying how close the game could be, but if Nathan Work plays at his best, and BC's done their things to tune up defensively, they might kick the crap out of Calgary. You know, but then it's the other thing. Vernon Adams, you met him at Grey Cup last year. You and I were together. Hard not to pull for VA. I'm really wondering what he's going to bring to the game on Saturday.
Well, and you say it's hard to cheer against a guy like that, and it's hard to say, oh, we're going to just go in and clean up. Not with a guy like Vernon Adams. He's not going to allow you just to go in and clean up, even though I'd love it. Don't get me wrong. I'd love it to see a 30-0 game. But that's not going to happen. I honestly think VA's going to come in, like I said yesterday, he's going to have that chip on his shoulder. He has something to prove. We've beat him soundly twice, as you said. This third time, this is the game that matters. All the other games don't matter. This is the one that matters. We lose this one, who cares about the season games? This is the one. So, I think VA is going to have just as good a game as Rourke. It's going to be that close.
By the way, going deep today on the Canadian Football League because the playoffs are Saturday, a doubleheader, and we love it. I know it's a very big Blue Jays day. We're not even on the air in Canada today. Just saying, we are Blue Jays fans, but we've been preempted because of pickleball on Game Plus. Not complaining about it, just telling you what it is. And what we always do here is football. AJ Miller writes in, says, on that note, the Stampeders took care of the Riders pretty handily this season. Who do we want as Rider fans to win tomorrow? Well, Jim Barker and I agree that the biggest threat to the Rough Riders getting to the Grey Cup is the BC Lions. So I think you're cheering for Calgary. That's the other thing. I mean, people don't understand. I'll go back to the George Cortez thing. Everybody thinks the season is a storybook. So Calgary might have beaten you twice in the regular season. You don't think you learned from that? You don't think you got film on that? You don't think you make adjustments to that? BC's gotten better. Calgary's got a little better. But Nathan Rourke, Kev, you're the Rourke guy. Is he not playing better than he ever has right now?
Right now, I've never seen anything like it. He's playing that good. And I mean, as you know, I've been watching the CFL since I was a baby. And I don't think I've seen a quarterback just as on as this kid is. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, he's playing the best he ever has. To say he's the best BC quarterback ever, there's a few might want to have a word with you on that. But hang on. Kev is a BC fan. He's been cheering for longer than you'd want to know. By the way, the Bomber fans are showing up, and they have some thoughts. We'll talk about your team when we come back. The Smurf Mafia has showed up. That's a Kevin term, not mine. And we've got a lot of things to get to. We do have breaking news from the NFL today for those that are watching across the U.S., and thank you for the time. If you haven't heard, the Miami Dolphins have fired general manager Chris Greer today, but Mike McDaniel will remain the coach for the rest of the season. So there is that. Yeah, we got a lot to get to, so we will be back in a flash with Kevin the Medium. 902-518-3033, by the way, is the text line. I haven't even looked at it yet, so get your questions and comments in. Brought to you by Western Dodge. From trucks to SUVs, Western Dodge has what you're looking for. Visit them or online at westerndodge.ca. Again, 902-518-3033 is the number, and we'll return in the flash on this spooky Halloween edition of the RP Show on the Game Plus TV network.
Country's hottest party is coming. James Barker Band, Bud Light Buckle Up Tour 2025. Live across Canada with special guests Ryan and Rory. November 20th, Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at zasktix.ca. James Barker Band Live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote your rebel, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina. This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
All right, welcome back, everybody, as a Football Friday continues here on the Game Plus TV network. Coming up hour 2 across Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network, and we'll be joined by Jim Barker. Then Kevin the Medium joining us from Mexico. I should mention our junior hockey report, which we do every day, brought to you by the Mad Greek Eatery in Moose Jaw. Tonight, it's the Regina Pats at the Moose Jaw Warriors. It's the best rivalry in all of junior hockey. You're going to the game, all you people down there in southern Saskatchewan. Stop in at the Mad Greek and tell them, the Mad Greek, Johnny Utretis, that you saw RP talking about him. That would help us out a lot. Whether it's pizza, ribs, or authentic Greek favorites, make it the Mad Greek Eatery tonight, before or after the game. Okay, Kev. Noni writes in from Calgary on the Western Dodge text line. She says, "Morning, Rod. I watch you on YouTube. Love your Halloween outfit." I'm about to electrocute myself on this thing, by the way. It lights up. It's all tangled with my headphones, and I've taken my witch hat off. She says, "Go Jays, go. I think these CFL playoffs will be interesting. It might still not be any upsets, but neither Calgary nor Winnipeg will roll over and be walked over." Regarding us not on in Canada on Game Plus today, Gary in Winnipeg says, "I'm very surprised that people don't have a Fire Stick and download the Stream Fire app. It has a total of 109 sports channels, including all the TSN and sport, but whatever. We're not TV guy, Gary. You got it. Good for you." Vintage Sasko writes in. He says, "Hi, Father Rodney and Peso Kevin. Ain't liking the memories of the 2008 Saturday West semifinal. Michael Bishop tanking, and then the damn Lions trying to get into our hot tub at Taylor Field. What a rivalry, though. Oh, and by the way, that's the other thing. Rob Murphy, and I want to say Angus Reid and a bunch of those degenerates ran the length of the field. We had a hot tub in the end zone, and they jumped in it. Pissed us off even more, which, you know, Kev, not that you would care, but the West Final in Saskatchewan's 4,000 to 5,000 tickets shy of a sellout. And that's got everybody talking in Saskatchewan because they don't have anything else to talk about right now. You live with a Rider fan, or at least you're with a Rider fan in Mexico. What's she saying about this team's Grey Cup chances now that who cares what I think?
You know what? She's been really, really quiet about it. But you can tell any time I bring up that Western Final, she starts on me. So.
About what?
Oh, I think am I losing the.
You're fine.
I'm frozen on my end. Sorry about that. Now, anytime I bring up the Western Final, she goes, "You have to get by Calgary first," so I wouldn't talk. So it's going to be it's going to be an interesting flight home because we actually fly home on the 8th. We didn't really plan this well, so we fly home the day of the Western Final. So if BC, or I should say, when BC gets in, we might be sitting in separate seats. I'm not really sure how this is going to work.
Well, I told you the Bomber fans have showed up, and regarding that West Final not being sold out, Chief Johnny Moe is watching in Winnipeg, and he says, would be sold out by now if it was in Winnipeg. #Go Bombers, which I guess now would be a good time to talk about that. But there was a lady by the name of Mel who wrote into our Facebook page, and she said, Rod, the game would be sold out by now if you were still the voice of the Riders because of your epic rants. And what I would have done back in the – and thank you, Mel, by the way. She's a dear – I would have picked a fight with somebody on the BC side. That's what I would have done. Like back in the day, it would have been Roy Shivers or that mental midget Carl Kidd or somebody like that, Otis Floyd. Just get it going in the media. Sold out the damn stadiums. But you know what? Nobody does that anymore. It's, you do that, you get soundly trounced. Other than seeing Luke Wilson and Peter Diakowski fighting on Twitter right now, which is so distasteful to me and off-putting, maybe this isn't the time on the planet for that, Kev. Those spats in the media at playoff time. I don't know.
Well, it's funny. Angela and I got up really early to go watch the sunrise at the tip of this island. It was really cool. But on the way there, we were discussing how you can't insult anybody anymore because everybody takes it so personally. And so many of the insults we could use back in our day we're not allowed to say now. Like, we would be so canceled if we brought up half the words we used to say. So it goes to the same thing. And people just can't take it anymore. They need to.
No.
I can even say that.
Well, I think the one thing you just said it yourself, you can't insult anybody. Well, you shouldn't insult anybody, period. But like Jeff, the Stamps fan, just writes in, he goes, LOL, Carl Kidd, I forgot about him. No, I know, but that was all fun. And that's why I think the CFL people, like the Lions sending me a photo of our TV screen in their offices, like it's years later, they realize I was just playing. I was just having fun. It wasn't real. It was wrestling crap. But I know some people can't get over it. Bo. But anyways, back to, I mentioned the Bomber thing. So they've never been a crossover team before. That's another thing. So crossover teams, we all know they've never gone to the Grey Cup. Crossover teams 0-13. There's been 13 teams since they've invoked that format, and nobody's ever gone to the Grey Cup. We addressed that yesterday and throughout the week. Why have they not? It's not that hard to figure out. You're playing better teams. You're traveling, la-di-da-di-da. But I'll say this. Davis Alexander at 11-0, as we talked about yesterday, is the best start to the history of a career in the Canadian Football League. Jim Barker's got a problem with that. But we'll get to that next hour with Jim Barker. But where do you think this guy ranks? Like, he beat out Danny Mac. Danny Mac's a stud now. Danny Mac is in the Hall of Fame. This guy's got to actually do something. You're talking about Nathan Rourke being the greatest ever. What the hell's he ever done? Like, there's a lot of guys got to prove a lot of stuff here before we start crowning their ass, to quote Dennis Green.
11-0 is great. Don't get me wrong. But until he actually takes the team to the big show and wins the big show, how good is he? Just like anything else, if you won a Stanley Cup, do you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? Does that mean the criteria to win, to get into the Hall of Fame?
Oh my
I mean, 11-0 is great, but he's going to have to be 12-0.
Yeah. Even on your choppy internet, I get what you're saying. Do you go to the Hall of Fame if you haven't won a Stanley Cup? Well, okay. Now you're getting down to my pet peeve. Now you're seeing the people that were raised in the participation ribbon era. Everybody gets a trophy era, making the decisions on who gets into the Hall of Fame, who does this. You still need to win, okay? And there are some of these Hall of Fames are still built on that. Some are not. I'm not going to name any leagues.
Yes.
But yeah, we can all talk about Nathan Rourke as the next one or Davis Alexander is the next one. But as far as I'm concerned, until your teammates are lifting you over their shoulders and you're getting the trophy handed to you by the commissioner, you ain't done shit. And that is for Nathan Rourke and Davis Alexander. So put that in your pipe. Them or anybody else that's deciding these things. Ryan in New Jersey writes in, he says, New York State. He says, Davis Alexander has been impressive for sure. Hopefully he doesn't turn into a pumpkin tomorrow. I also don't think that will happen. I don't think he's going to.
No. I think he'll have another game, and it'll be... If that game could go either way, that could be a real snorer of a game, or it could be a last-second win. Thus, I'm going to be watching both games from here in Mexico. It's going to be well worth it.
Tons of questions coming in from the viewers. They're going to be great. I'll get to them right after this break. Kev, you have fun out there. Say hey to Ange for me, and thanks for your time, man. Enjoy the rest of your holiday.
Put on the party hat.
Trick or treat. We'll be right back, everybody, here on the Game Plus Television Network. Don't swear. I think you got your timing off.
I think we're still live.
We're still live, everybody, so we know that. And I'll just say this. We have enough YouTube comments to get us to the top of the hour, but you can text in as well, 902-518-3033. We're having a great football chat today and a Football Friday. And for a second, third, fourth, fifth time, Kev, thank you for the time. Don't eat too much. Put on the sunscreen and trick or treat. And we'll be right back in a second, everybody, here on Game Plus TV.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Football Friday continues. Thanks for those that have found us over here on YouTube. Kirk in Toronto writes in. He watches us every day on Game Plus TV, but not today. He writes in on the Western Dodge text line. He says, Rod tuned in on Game Plus and thought the RP show was a pickleball Halloween costume. Hey, it doesn't happen that often when we're preempted in Canada for whatever reason. Today it's pickleball. Game Plus can do what they want. They're our daddy. But we are on across the USA on Game Plus and in hour 2, continuing across the USA on Game Plus, plus the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network across Nevada. Hey, by the way, does your message stand out At Outlaw Communications, we make sure it does. Tony Plater brings 35 years of communication and leadership expertise, from media training and leadership coaching to strategic crisis planning and compelling content. He'll help you lead with confidence. Outlaw Communications, where creativity isn't a hobby, it's a way of life. I guess I'm going to do a sports update here, but I have so many things that I didn't get to with Kev, like the NHL story and so forth, because it's CFL Division semifinal weekend, baby. What else are we going to be talking about on a Football Friday? But the sports update is brought to you by Ultimate Fan Zone in Moose Jaw. I got this quarter zip. I get all my Blue Jays gear there. Your home for jerseys, collectibles, and all the gear you need. Visit them today or shop online at ultimatefanzone.ca. There is breaking news from the NFL today. The Miami Dolphins have fired general manager Chris Grier on the heels of last night's 28-6 home loss to the Baltimore Ravens. It's a mess, but I talk a lot on this show about not wanting to anger the teams in the leagues, and I just talked to the Dolphins yesterday. And I'm not Joe Rose. I don't have the cred in this town that Joe Rose does. So it's bad. I'm not sure it's going to get better. Not anytime soon. Mike McDaniel is going to be the head coach to the end of the season. They got an interim GM in there, but Chris Grier is out as of Friday today. Okay, the Blue Jays are back in action at Rogers Center tonight for Game 6 of the World Series against the LA Dodgers. Toronto won the last 2 out of 3 in LA to take a 3-2 series lead. Jays manager John Schneider said Thursday that George Springer is also likely to return to the starting lineup tonight after missing the last 2 games due to injury. That is our poll question today. Let me check the update on it. When will the Blue Jays win the World Series? I know that's a very confident way to speak of it, but you got to speak it into existence. For EMJ Marketing, when will the Blue Jays win the World Series? Game 6, Game 7, or they won't? 50% of respondents saying Game 6 tonight, it ends. We're all going to be gathered around the TVs, aren't we? 29% saying Game 7, it'll end in the Blue Jays' favor, and 21% being haters and saying they won't win it at all. So you can vote on that on Twitter or YouTube if that's your thing. While we're at it, I'm going to throw this out there for our friends at CoolBet, the official betting partner of me, CoolBet Canada. If you go to their Twitter right now or coolbet.com, their Twitter is at CoolBet Canada. It's their home run bet insurance. Bet on any player to hit a home run tonight. Minimum bet $19.93. Reply on Twitter with a photo of your bet slip and your username. If you don't win, they'll bonus you back to $19.93. So as fans are saying, Jays fans, they're like, free money. Why not? Coolbet.com, Canadian viewers only. Sorry. While you're there, you can sign up and use the promo code RP200, and they'll match your welcome bet bonus up to $200. Okay, the 2025 Hardy Cup playoffs kick off in Canada West football on Saturday. That is Canadian University football, with a pair of semifinal games taking place in the province of Saskatchewan. The action gets started in Saskatoon at 2 p.m. Central when the Saskatchewan Huskies take on the UBC Thunderbirds. And then 3 hours later, 260 kilometers south, the defending champion Regina Rams host the Manitoba Bisons at 5 p.m. Central. The winners will advance to play in the 88th Hardy Cup next weekend. Moose is on his way there to the motherland. I'm not sure which game he's got. I think he's got the Saskatoon game. He's on his way there now. He's in the air. So enjoy the Canadian University action semifinals on Saturday. That is your sports update, proudly presented by Ultimate Fan Zone Sports Store, Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Get your game day gear in store or online at ultimatefanzone.ca. Yeah. Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in and he says, what good is it to fire a GM now? I know, right? But here's the thing. I don't want to be too critical of the Dolphins because let's just say they're watching. And you know what the NFL said last year. You know, Rod, you need to talk more about us. It'd be better for you. I was looking at the ownership of the Dolphins. Stephen Ross made the announcement this morning. And he's the main owner. And when you're the main owner, 51% or more, you get to make all the decisions. That's how it works, in case you didn't know. But I'm looking at the ownership group. Mark Anthony is in there. Do you know who that is? That's the guy that used to be married to Jennifer Lopez. And we used to all go, how the hell did he get Jennifer Lopez? But I mean, I'm not a good judge of how attractive guys are or not. But he's a singer. He's a Venus Williams, Serena Williams. They're all in the ownership group. There's a bunch of celebrities in there. I'm only naming a few. But I guess the point being, when Stephen Ross made the statement this morning, I read it. It was, upon review of our football team, Chris Greer and I decided it would be best to mutually part ways. And the problem is we all get sucked in by thinking we believe what we hear or we believe what we read. And that's a crafted statement by Stephen Ross. I mean, I don't know the guy, but the Dolphins haven't exactly been on fire since he's owned the team. As a matter of fact, they've been on fire, as in a dumpster fire. I'm just wondering if he's qualified to make that decision about the football team. Most owners aren't, but maybe he has his advisors. The best owners do. I don't know. John Ohm in Winnipeg writes in. He says, "Put on that goalie mask in hour 2, RP." That's an artifact. That was, as you know, my dad's goalie mask. I prefer to not really touch it. It's sacred to me. Not a Halloween costume. But I appreciate you, John, for saying that. But yeah, I'm going to leave my dad's mask where it is. You have to settle for my my witch's hat. I like this enough. Vancouver Eric, here's me talking about taking people seriously as I wear a witch's hat on international television. Vancouver Eric says, owners, again, causing all the issues. Yeah, I don't want to go down that road anymore because you know my thoughts on it. Why some teams always win and why some teams always lose. Michael Wynn, watching at Ice Time Sports in Winnipeg, says, go, Bisons, go, as we talk about the Canada West football playoffs. Let me finish up what I was talking about. Quick 6 show topics. I'll get them out of the way now. For the NHL fans watching, Winnipeg's top line of Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, and Gabriel Velarde each had 3-point nights as the Winnipeg Jets down the Chicago Blackhawks 6-3 last night. Kiefer Sherwood had a hat trick. Jake DeBrusk scored the only goal in a shootout, and the Vancouver Canucks beat the St. Louis Blues 4-3. JT Miller scored 2:49 into overtime as the New York Rangers erased a 2-goal deficit to earn a 4-3 victory over the Edmonton Oilers. There are 3 games tonight. We'll talk more about them next hour. Hour 1 is brought to you in part by Suds Full Service Car Wash. Big Calgary Stampeder fans over there, plus Rider fans too. That's Kirby and Company. Fuel your fleet's finesse with Suds Regina's unbeatable cleaning packages. They'll shine like new every time. Visit sudsregina.com. For the NBA fans, the Raptors are in Cleveland tonight. Raps riding a 4-game losing streak after winning their season opener against Atlanta. Cleveland has starting center Jarrett Allen listed as questionable after he broke the ring finger on his left hand on Wednesday. I said I was going to tell some stories, and I don't have a lot of time left to do this here, but as I'm sitting here in South Florida, a couple of things come to mind. Danny McManus's record for the best start ever to a CFL career failed. He was 9-0, the FSU great. Danny's from here, Dania Beach, Florida, and lives here, scouts for the Blue Bombers. I just remember him saying to me, we were at a game last year at FAU, Florida Atlantic University, which is 1.8 miles from my house because that's where I walked it. Danny was like, and when I grew up, there was no I-95. Because I-95 is the main thoroughfare through South Florida now. And I'm like, yeah, but back then, Danny, there wasn't 10.5 million people. I can't imagine the traffic was that bad then. But anyways, did the Cardinal Gibbons seniors night last night for the football team, the Chiefs and the Patriots. And when I say did it, I announced it. And I was up in the press box with these officials. They're basically older guys. They're not on the field anymore. But they never leave the game, just like me. I don't either. And once they found, they're running the clock, the score clock, the game clock, on the headset to the on-field officials. We had a blast. I'd never worked with these guys before, just met them. So much fun to do these new experiences, meet new people. And as soon as they found out my CFL history and then I was a Canadian, their eyes lit up. Like referees, get them engaged in something they care about. They're like, oh, tell us about the 55-yard line. Oh, so you're Canadian, huh? If you screw up a name, do you have to say sorry? How does the rouge work? Like, what are they? And of course, I'm sitting there going, well, it's all changed again. We just had a great time with the football people last night. And I want to thank Cardinal Gibbons Chiefs for having me by. They said it was the best seniors night they've ever had. I had nothing to do with that, but it was nice to be a part of it and be invited. Thank you, Coach DeBuck. And a big win for the Chiefs by the Patriots, too. Offensive explosion last night. Hour 2 coming up. Coach Barker and more here on Game Plus.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
Happy Football Friday, everybody, and more importantly, happy Halloween. Welcome to the RP Show, everybody. It's your boy RP coming at you on the Game Plus television network, but preempted in Canada today due to a pickleball tournament. But we are on in 32 U.S. states there and across the Silver State of Nevada, USA, on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. Hello. You're getting half my Halloween costume right now. You're going to see the rest of it later on in the program today. Jim Barker coming up, 5-time Grey Cup champion, XFL champion, just a football guy, Jim Barker, to go over all levels of football. Week 9 in the NFL, Week 10 in college football. The CFL playoffs are at hand, by the way. Semifinal Saturday. We've got and some high school football to talk about. Oh, my God. Fall is for football. But you know what? It's for baseball, too, as we open up this with the Fall Classic. I wouldn't care about it if the Blue Jays weren't in it. But tonight, the Toronto Blue Jays will try to wrap up their first World Series title since 1993 when they host the LA Dodgers in Game 6 at Rogers Center. Dodgers, on the other hand, and I know Vegas is a big Dodger town, they're counting on another masterful start from pitcher Yoshinobu Yamamoto as they look to stay alive and extend this thing to Game 7 and hopefully win it. From their perspective then, Saturday night, Yamamoto is 3-1 in this postseason with a 1.57 ERA, pardon me, and through a complete game win in Game 2. I will not forget Dave Roberts, the skipper of the Dodgers, after last Saturday's Game 2, saying he could still be pitching. He's got 2 more innings left in him, at least. Well, he's on the hill tonight. Kevin Gausman goes for the Blue Jays tonight. He's 2-2 in these playoffs. Obviously, biggest start for Kevin Gausman. An elimination game tonight at Rogers Center. And that is our poll question today, by the way, for EMJ Marketing. From impactful speakers to strategic marketing, EMJ Marketing is your all-in-one solution. Visit them at emjmarketing.com. The question is, when will the Blue Jays win the World Series? See how I worded that? I'm trying to speak it into existence here. I'm calling it up on Twitter. You can vote on Twitter at Rod Pedersen Show, or you can vote on YouTube. 50% of respondents saying it ends tonight, Game 6. The Blue Jays will win it all. 29% say Game 7 on Saturday, Toronto will win it. 21% saying they won't win it at all. And the Dodgers are going to come back and win this thing. I should tell you right now, the text line is open for Western Dodge. You can always reach us at 902-518-3033. Kirk writes in, he is watching in Toronto. He says, hey, Rod, good thing Toronto has a dome, because it's a miserable, cold, windy, rainy day, and Game 6 would definitely get rained out. Well, that's why they put a retractable roof on that thing, that marvel. We all remember when it opened in 1989. It's still a marvel. I can't believe they actually talked about replacing that thing a few years ago. Yeah, we'll all be watching tonight. I should mention there is breaking news, by the way, as I continue this. It comes out of Miami, which is here where I live, South Florida, on the heels of Thursday Night Football, point 2 of the Quick 6 show topics, where Lamar Jackson threw for 204 yards and 4 tuds, showing little rust coming back from the hamstring injury. The Baltimore Ravens routed the Dolphins 28-6. Lamar always puts on his show when he comes back to his hometown here, which is Pompano Beach, Florida. That was the end of the line for Chris Grier, the general manager of the Dolphins. Friday morning, the team releasing a statement from the owner, Stephen Ross. I'll paraphrase. I don't have it in front of me, but the owner of the Miami Dolphins, Stephen Ross, saying that after review of the team with Chris Grier, they both agreed it would be mutually best to part ways. And when Jim Barker comes on next, maybe we'll ask him, is it ever mutual? It's never mutual. It's never mutual, okay. This is a surprise, though. It's all the talk, obviously, around here on all the sports radio stations. I said there were 5, but I think there might actually be 6. But they were saying Chris Grier is really close friends with Stephen Ross, many thinking that he may be staying with the organization. Either way, Mike McDaniel, the head coach, will be staying for the rest of the season. That's what they announced today. They're 2-7. They're not getting better. It's a grease fire. Joe Rose played for the Dolphins in the 80s. He caught Dan Marino's first ever touchdown pass. They're best friends. I was listening to Joe Rose this morning. He does a morning show here in Florida and is the color voice of the Dolphins. I don't mean to laugh, but I mean, I get it because I've been in his shoes. He's on the radio this morning almost crying. about how bad they played last night. This is before they fired Chris Greer. I just, like, Joe's a really funny guy. I'm not taking pleasure from him being so upset. And I can't believe that Joe Rose was calling for the firing of Chris Greer going back in the offseason. And I sit there and go, if I said the things about GMs or teams I was with, I wouldn't have made it till noon. But Joe Rose has the cred for all the reasons I just mentioned. And it dawned on me today why he's allowed to say the things that he says, because he just loves the team so much. He just loves them so much, and everybody knows it, including Stephen Ross. So he can say whatever he wants. Most times he's right. Anyways, coming up later on this hour, we have our NFL picks for Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon, Pump Jack's Cathedral, Pump Jack's Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. Joe 747 Gunnis will be joining us from the Ratio podcast to look at the NFL picks for the weekend and a little ditty that we call Deal or No Deal. That'll include the Raiders home to the Jacksonville Jaguars Sunday. It's interesting, by the way, before we went to Nevada television, but in the summer prior to the NFL season, we had all our NFL pundits. We asked them all who was going to be the surprise team in the NFL this season, and 80% of them said the Raiders. And just this morning, not that I needed to read it in black and white, but there it was. It said the Raiders with 2 wins. It's officially been a disappointment under Pete Carroll. It's been a failure. Are we declaring that? They're writing it off? Still got a couple years left on his contract, right? But it has been a disappointment. But I wanted to point out that not one person, not one pundit said the Indianapolis Colts at 7-1 would be the surprise team. Nobody going into the season said that. Nobody saw this coming. So that's why we play the games. I said the Raiders would be the surprise team. I'm not looking down at anybody. You just never know how it's going to go. And that's why I don't really follow a lot of it, even though I spew it every day. I don't follow other people's crap because that's kind of all that it is, to be honest. Point 3, as we roll along in the Quick Six show topics, college football. Saturday's college football slate is headlined by 3 ranked matchups. Number 9, Vanderbilt at number 20, Texas, 12 p.m. on ABC. As I sit here, I have not heard if Arch Manning is playing for the Longhorns. I'm going to assume that he is. Steve Sarkisian, the former Rough Riders quarterback, the head coach of the Longhorns, saying that Arch was coming along well this week. I think he'll play. Number 18, Oklahoma at number 14, Tennessee. That's 7:30 p.m. on ABC. And number 17, Cincinnati at number 24, Utah. That's the late game, 10:15 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. The best of the rest, Penn State at number 1, OSU. Number 10, Miami at SMU. Everybody's talking about that around here. Number 5, Georgia at Florida. Number 8, Georgia Tech at NC State. And number 23, USC at Nebraska. Those are some of the big matchups. I always like to ask Jim Barker, our resident football expert, what's his favorite college football game of the weekend? What's he got his eye on the most? So we'll be asking that to him when he joins us in the next segment. Let me just drop in for a second and tell you the text line is open, 902-518-3033. It's brought to you by Western Dodge. Are you ready for a new ride? Head to Western Dodge, where the deals are real and the service is legendary. Haven't got to the CFL playoff games yet. I may, if we have time. Point 4, the Quick Six show topics is this. 3 games in the NHL tonight. The Colorado Avalanche are visiting the Vegas Golden Knights. So for those that are going to the game, of our Nevada viewers, enjoy responsibly. The Golden Knights are coming off I'd be interested to know what they would typify this road trip for them. Lost 3-0 here at Sunrise Saturday. I was there. Didn't look very good. Lost 2-1 in Tampa Bay on Sunday in overtime, and then rallied to win in Raleigh on Tuesday over the Carolina Hurricanes. They're 500 on the trip. Back home tonight against the Colorado Avalanche, one of the top teams in the NHL's Western Conference. Also tonight, the Washington Capitals host the New York Islanders, and the Anaheim Ducks welcome the Detroit Red Wings. Very much enjoyed the chat yesterday. I know it's Football Friday here today, but on this Halloween, which, by the way, I'm wearing my ghost necklace. I'm busting out the rest of my costume later on this hour. Which NHL team is wearing a mask? I know a lot of people didn't really understand that. Which NHL team is masquerading? Who's wearing a costume? Who's not real? Is it the Detroit Red Wings who went into LA and won in overtime on Thursday to go to 8-3? I saw Jeff, the Stampeders fan, write in here earlier and said, shout out to the Flames who got a point last night. They lost in Ottawa in overtime. At Halloween, the Flames season is over. My mon Dieu. Allie in Texas has checked in. She says, happy Halloween, RP and squad. Hey, Allie. If you want to see my Halloween outfit, stay tuned. Bad me. I've just got to the viewer comments now. Stop. Utah Darren writes in and he says, Cincy is the biggest surprise of this college football season. I was wondering about that. I feel like this top 25 has had the most earth-shaking changes that we've maybe ever seen this year. Or is it just me? Because I'm now following it more than I ever have. Coach Matt DeBuck checks in from the Cardinal Gibbons Chiefs, who won last night. We talked a lot about your game last night, Coach. He says, New Mexico at UNLV. We will be watching that game on Saturday at the Casa de Buc. Coach DeBuck says, Rod was great as the voice of the Chiefs last night. Thanks, RP. No, thank you, Coach. The pleasure was mine. And I'll say this again. I was wound up hour one talking about this, and I'll talk about it here. I was the voice of the Chiefs last night. Thank you, at Cardinal Gibbons High School on seniors night. The highlight of many highlights was having the referee officials beside me, the off-field officials. These were older guys that have coached at the highest, or reffed at the highest levels of football, and just to sit and chat with them. This is kind of funny, and I feel bad for the Canadians as the snow is now flying. I get that. But the one guy, again, they're older. They've been on the field. Now they're running the game clock, and they're, grading officials and spotting and doing all the things that you do when you too old to run around now. The one guy goes, this cold snap. It's making my right knee flare up. Checks weather app, plus 20 Celsius. On a Thursday night, the night before this cold snap, plus 20 Celsius at night. Anyways, when these Cowboys found out that I come from the CFL after 20 years in the league, I'm going to say it again, their eyes lit up. I said, you guys watch the CFL? Of course. They watch all levels of football, and they want to know everything about it. They say, is that true that field is so wide you can't see the other side? Sometimes. Because you're Canadian, do you have to say sorry as an announcer, if you get a name wrong? Sure. They just, a wealth of questions about the CFL. How's that 55-yard line work? I'm not answering that because it's going away. But I told them, sorry to bring this up, Coach, but Cardinal Gibbons gave up I got it written down right here. How long was that direct snap touchdown? 80 yards. Yeah, direct snap to the tailback. Gone, 80 yards. But wasn't that hard to figure out? It was from the 30-yard line or 20. I'm bad at math. 50 plus 30, 80 yards. Yeah, after a touchback. I'm sitting there going, for 20 years calling these games in the CFL, that 55-yard line gave me headaches. I'm just saying a 50-yard line works a lot better for stats. Well, there you go, Jeff the Stamps. I guess the guy wasn't exaggerating. Jeff the Stamps fan says, if you are standing on the sideline, you can't see the other side. That's because of the crown and the field, right? I understand that, but it's a long ways over there. I say that again. Everybody thinks, not Jeff the Stamps fan, because he's the biggest CFL fan I know, but it's like, Everybody in Canada thinks the Americans think the CFL is a joke, and they don't. At least not the football people. They respect the hell out of it. I said 5 years ago when I got here, the CFL gets more respect in America than it does in Canada, and I stand by that. Write it down. I'll say it again. CFL gets more respect in America than it does in Canada, and that's a fact. James writes in and he says, the Mammoth are the NHL's surprise. Many surprises. It's one of many, is the point. Bomber Boy writes in, he says, are the Winnipeg Jets the best Canadian NHL team? Can we not do that in October? Stop. BC Eric says, what's on the RP sports menu this weekend? Real quickly, it's watching New Mexico at DeBuck's house Saturday, then the Panthers and the Stars on Sunday, then my neighbor Fish's birthday on Sunday. It's going to be busy. And the Blue Jays tonight, Game 6. We'll be back with the coach, Jim Barker, right after this. We are live on the Game Plus Television Network and Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Welcome back on a Football Friday, everybody. A spooky Halloween edition. By the way, we're brought to you in part by Suds Full Service Car Wash. Are you stuck for gift ideas? Suds gift cards available online at our location at Costco. They're the ultimate for anyone who loves a clean ride. Visit sudsregina.com. Okay, the coach is here, Jim Barker. Coach, I don't even never know where to start with you other than my Blue Jays, your Dodgers. Can we start? I can't imagine what the town's going through. Nice haircut, by the way. Is the town on fire today?
Thank you. No, it's actually raining, putting fires out.
Oh.
So, yeah,
Okay.
You know what? I'm sure I did tell you I'm cheering for the Blue Jays. Kudos to you picking the Blue Jays in 6, and they've got Yamaguchi going tonight. The Dodgers do, but the Blue Jays figured out how you beat a Japanese pitcher. You play a game, you put him on base 9 times, and then play the game 15 hours later that he's going to be the starting pitcher in.
It's going to be too tired.
That's all you're going to do.
Tire them out. Yeah, exactly.
That's how they got Ohtani good. He could not go 4 innings. I ended up going 6, but it wasn't his best 6 innings. But what a game. With the Blue Jays, what a fantastic comeback the last 2 days. But that 18-inning game was one of the best baseball games, and I know a lot of people couldn't stay awake late enough. That was one of the best. It had everything. It had, if you're a baseball fan, if you're any kind of sports fan, the anxiety, it had everything. Was it crushing for the Blue Jays? Sure, it was. But then they come back and they win the next 2, and now everybody forgets we got a chance to see maybe the greatest baseball game in Major League history. So, again, applause to the Blue Jays. Too bad that Shimaguchi, he didn't pitch or get on base 9 times yesterday. So, they're going to have to beat his best, and he's a good pitcher. But we'll see what happens. It should be interesting.
It's been the greatest sports story of the century. Yamamoto, by the way, is the name. And I see what you're low key trying to jinx this. I'm not celebrating anything. I said Blue Jays in 6. I know what you're trying to do. I'm not celebrating anything until it's over, and I'll be blowing it up everywhere. But the Blue Jays have dominated with the bats on the mound at the right times. It's been a hell of a story. It's been a hell of a story. Okay. Football.
Okay.
Go.
Now you talked about Chris Greer earlier and getting rid of the GM midseason and whatever. But what about college football? 12 coaches, FBS coaches fired before November 1st. 12, the most ever since the FBS came into creation in 19 I believe it was 78. So you're talking about a long time. 12 coaches fired. Well, is it not coincidental that it happens at the same time as NIL? And, you talked about Stephen Ross making the decision and having Mark So imagine you're at LSU, okay? And you've got to get $40 million for your NIL, and you've got 4 boosters who each put $10 million in. Now, for $10 million, and this is all just, I'm giving you the example of what college football is becoming. So each one of those put that money in. They want to have some kind of say. I mean, it's not about getting a parking space or getting they want to have a say in who the coach is going to be. So you got one who says, well, let's go get Lane Kiffin out of Mississippi. Then you got another who says, well, shoot, let's just go get Nick Saban. He really wants to coach again. Let's just go get him. And then you got another who says, well, I think we ought to go up and get Joe Brady out of Buffalo and bring him back. He did great things with Joe Burrow. So you've got, if you just any other candidate, Matt Rule, anybody, if there's 4 candidates that these 4 people want different people, you now have, if you're Nick Saban and you're hired, 25% of the people really want you. 75% don't. If you're Joe Brady, again, because you're talking about those 10 million are representing, the people, they're donating the money. They want to say now. That's why so many people are getting fired. I mean, Penn State, to fire that guy, at LSU, I thought the governor came on and talked about it. And this is why I'm talking about LSU, because I thought he said some things that were really made you think. So their AD, Scott Woodward, the last guy he signed when he was at Texas A&M was Jimbo Fisher, who was paid out $78 million to get bought out, and now they're paying Brian Kelly $50 million. So the governor of the state, he says, this guy's a state employee. I'm not letting this guy who's given away $120 million in buyouts make the decision. So, we're going to have a group that we're going to approve that's going to go make the decision. Now, who's that going to be? So you have so many different factors now with the money needed for NIL to be what NIL is, and the expectations go sky high. Now, the LSU governor had a really interesting concept. So all these guys have these big buyouts, and right now the highest paid guy's making $12 million a year, and Signetti just re-signed for $11.8 million a year for 8 years, and the buyouts, $80 million, whatever they are. They're just astronomical contracts. His point was, okay, we want to win national championship. Let's see if somebody's willing to bet on themselves, and we'll pay them $6 million. But if they win and get to the playoffs, they'll get another $5 million, and then another $5 million if they make it to the championship game, and then another, so they could make $20 million and be the highest paid guy. But they got to earn it. I thought it was an interesting concept. I think it's something you're going to see start to happen, because these buyouts they're out of control in college football.
By the way, that was the talk in the press box at the high school game last night in Fort Lauderdale. Cardinal Gibbons amongst the football people was the buyouts, and just mind-boggling. And Scott Woodward fired, by the way. Did you mention that at LSU?
Oh, was he?
Blowing that. Yeah, he's fired yesterday. Yeah, that's how fast that's happening. That's how fast it's going. What school, if you could say it in your mind, has managed the NIL the best since they brought it in a couple years ago?
Obviously, Ohio State. Now, do they have the most money to do it? Probably.
Yeah.
They're number one in the nation right now, probably by a long way over Indiana. Those two teams, I think, they'll play soon. But you have to say Ohio State, because they won it last year. They came back, and are they paying $40 million to do it? Maybe. Who knows? But last year, after they lost to Michigan, they wanted to fire Ryan Day. And instead, he ends up with a $12 million a year contract. And, it's all these jobs opening. A lot of coaches use it to get another job. Like James Franklin's I think he's going to go to Virginia Tech. So he's already got himself a new job. So the buyouts are all contingent on, if they don't work, that's how much they get. Some of them are payout right away. It's all in how the agent negotiates the deal. So, it's so interesting. But I would say Ohio State, just because they're the number one team in the nation.
They won it.
They've got the best players, and they won it last year.
Utah Darren writes, and he says, NIL is not sustainable at the rate it's going for the NCAA. Paying someone $50 million to leave a job? Insane. Okay, thank you for that. I know you're dying to talk about the CFL playoffs. The home teams are favored both by 4.5 points. Winnipeg at Montreal, Bombers a crossover team for the first time ever, and BC favored at home by 4.5. So the home against Calgary, the home teams are favored. Do you think the home teams win?
Okay, and each one for different reasons. In Montreal, the first game up, we got some major injuries in that one. There's 2 injuries to the defensive line in Montreal. Uguak's not going to play. Mustafa Johnson's not going to play. And Winnipeg, who did not have one offensive lineman on the all-CFL team, which speaks volumes when Brady Oliveira is your tailback, for them to not have one make it. And again, those teams I kind of take with a grain of salt, because they're voted by media who really, we don't know anything, but it's because I do have to consider myself media because I'm on your show. But anyway, and then the Bombers, I'm just not sold on them, on their front seven. Willie Jefferson is Willie Jefferson. He's still going to jump up, bat balls. He's not the game record that he was 3 years ago even, but he's still a great player. but I'm not sold on the whole front seven. Lawson and Jake starting at the inside tackles. Vodder's on one side has been okay. Tony Jones was an all CFL player. We had him. He was we had cut him out from Toronto. So again, I'm not sold on them. I'm going to take Montreal. Now, Davis Alexander, he's undefeated. He's never lost a game. He's never, ever started a game in the playoffs. He only played in 40% of their games less than 40%. He played in less than 40% of their games this year. Okay, so again, it's what is he? We don't know. I mean,
no,
yeah.
But when he did, he won.
He'd win. So we're going to see what Davis Alexander's all about these next 3 weeks. If he goes 3-0 the next 3 weeks, the guy's a bona fide. You know what? He's in a different class. Personally, I think they can beat Winnipeg. This one comes down to me. Usually when I look at a game, I look at quarterback versus quarterback. In this game, I'm going to look at Jason Hogan, the offensive coordinator in Winnipeg, against Noel Thorpe, the offensive coordinator in Montreal. Hogan has never done this before in a playoff, and playoffs are different even for coaches. Noel Thorpe is an old veteran who's done it forever. I don't know that Hogan will have the patience that it's going to take to attack a Noel Thorpe defense. Noel Thorpe, he was with me when I was with Don Matthews back in the in the old days. And Don Matthews' philosophy was let him go for a 7-yard run and an 8, because the offensive coordinators will never have the patience to stay with it. Just don't give up the big play. And that's Noel Thorpe's, that's what he does. So I'm going to take Noel Thorpe over Jason Hogan and call that as Montreal is going to win. In the other one, it comes down to quarterbacks. And Nathan Rourke is playing now better than anybody in the league. And VA has had some good games and had some off games. I think there's a lot of pressure on him. I don't like his receiving core or how VA has fit in with that receiving core, because there's been a lot of guys in and out, and he hasn't been able to get into a good rhythm like Rourke is in BC. I think that's going to be a big factor. And then the defenses, I think, are kind of a wash. I mean, Calgary at times has played great. They get their linebacker back that was key for them, their inside linebacker. And now Hudgens is back as on defense in the at defensive tackle, which is big for them. So I just see those as a wash, but I'm going to take Rourke over VA and pick the BC Lions to go into Saskatchewan next week, and the Montreal Alouettes to go into Hamilton next week.
Thank you for that. And it's funny because the finalists for Coach of the Year were named Thursday: Corey Mace versus Jason Moz. And the one thing that I know from being around the league for so long, all the coaches are real good. But I look at Milanovic, plus 44, I think, number one in turnover ratio, worst to first. You saw it coming. Scott Milanovic probably got some votes, or should have, for Coach of the Year.
For Jason Moss to beat him out when he has a team that was, basically finished second to this team. And yeah, he had quarterbacks in and out, but that's all part of coaching. I mean, the injuries aren't part of coaching, but having the right backup and being able to win with McLeod, Bethel Thompson, those kind of things. And he didn't do that. They didn't win the division. What Milanovic did, taking a team that had not won and was not even in the playoffs last year and win the division, I think was miraculous. To take a horrible defense and bring in the people. They go and draft Veresuk, first in the draft, and he makes a huge difference for him at Mike linebacker. There's just a lot of reasons why I believe Milanovic should have been the Coach of the Year out of the East.
Yeah,
it brings up Nathan Rourke versus Bo Levi. I mean, last year I said I can't vote for Bo Levi because I can't vote for a guy whose team did not make the playoffs. I don't care what his numbers were. I just couldn't. This year, how can I not vote for Bo Levi? He has, they say, well, he played in 2 more games than Nathan Rourke. Well, to me, that's a huge positive. You got your quarterback in every game with Bo Levi, whereas Nathan Rourke, he had injuries that kept him out. That should be I mean, yeah, he didn't catch him because he shouldn't. I mean, you know, I don't look at it as, well, he played 2 less games. I look at that 2 less games as a negative. As a coach, I want guys who are on the field. Availability is the most ability you can have. So I would vote. I don't know that I'll get a vote this year. I should get a vote. I did the preview show. I should get a vote. Anyway, I will vote for Bo Levi because I just believe that he deserves taking a last place team to a first place team. I think, and he didn't have the same kind of defense that Nathan Rourke had. So anyway, that's kind of my take on that.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be out of time before too long, but you kind of answered this earlier. How much does Winnipeg miss Buck Pierce as the OC? I've seen all the heat on Jason Hogan. I don't know if it's Hogan's over his head or Buck was just that good, but they are in the bottom half of the league offensively. And I know the quarterback's been hurt. I know all that, but they're just not the same team.
It's huge. And Jason Hogan's background has been very limited. He was with Buck Pierce in Winnipeg, and he had been at Montreal maybe for a couple years. But I think that's a huge, like I say, that to me is the difference maker in them this week against Montreal. I just don't hit the experience, watching the adjustments made, watching the way he utilizes formations as opposed to the way Buck Pierce utilizes formations. Those are things you learn through time. And it's no rap on Jason Hogan. He's a good young coach. But you're talking about now, it's a different level. There's a different pressure level when you get to a one and done playoff. And the intensity level's different. Everything's different. And the play caller, it's different. So it's going to be interesting to see. So I think that is a huge factor for Winnipeg.
We don't have a GM of the Year award in the CFL. It burns my grits. But if they did, who would it be?
It'd be one of two. It would either be Jeremy O'Day. I think he's done a nice job of keeping the right people around and building on the line, trying to build on lines. Their offensive line still isn't where it needs to be, but it's so much better. And their defensive line, 3 out of 4 players made all CFL. And I mean, their defensive line is stellar. And you knew with Corey Mace as a coach that was going to happen. So I would say him. I mean, I think Dave Dickinson deserves mention. Without question. He deserves mention. Ryan Rigg, I mean, that's a tough one. Ryan Rigg-Maiden brings in those 3 players, Bell and Tavai and TJ Lee, and completely turns that defense around. He's wanted them to be a physical team, and I think they're close to that. They still didn't get any offensive linemen, in the all CFL thing, but and I'm not sure how good they are there, but they're making the strides there. So, I mean, like I say, I look at all those guys, and they've done. I mean, even Ed Hervey, who didn't make the playoffs. I mean, what he did there was. I mean, he's got he's on the cusp right now of he's going to come in next year and they're going to be talked about as a team to beat, as a team that's close to win because of some of the players he's brought in this year. Now they have a year of experience. They started 1-6. So,
7 wins. To me, it's Dave Dickinson hands down. 5 wins to 11 wins. And you look at all the moves that he made. It is Dave Dickinson. Anyways, Coach, we covered it all. Enjoy the games. Great
Ted
job.
Govaya?
Yeah, well, as we have to go to break, you're right. Ted Govaya. We'll be right back.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
We're here for a good time, clearly. Not a long time. Happy Halloween, everybody. We're going to play a little ditty we call Deal or No Deal. It's brought to you by Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon, Pump Jack's Cathedral, Pump Jack's Weyburn. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet. I'm a little disappointed, Joe Gunnis from the Ratio podcast. No Halloween outfit for you, but that's okay. You ready to go with our NFL picks?
I'm ready to go, and I'm dressed as a face for radio, so we're all good.
Okay, you just flipped yourself. Why does this always happen? I don't know why, but let's go.
I'm
NFL,
not sure.
I give the betting lines. Why not? It's a spooky show. I give the betting lines, and Joe decides whether he's going to take the bet or not from Cool Bet Canada, our official betting partner. Battle of the top two defenses in the NFL, Denver versus Houston. The Texans favored by 1.5 at NRG Stadium. Are you taking the deal or not, Joe?
No deal for me.
Okay, no deal from Joe. I'm taking the deal. The San Francisco 49ers favored by 2.5 at the New York Football Giants. Deal or no deal?
Deal on that one.
Me as well. Indianapolis Colts at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Colts favored by 3.5 on the road. Deal or no deal?
No deal for me. I think the Steelers are going to pull one out there.
Okay, Colts for me. It's a deal. They're for real. Biggest point spread of the week, Green Bay Packers favored by 12.5 at home over Carolina. Deal or no deal?
Deal on that one.
No deal for me. It's too big of a point spread. Minnesota at Detroit. There's some banger games this weekend. This is one. Vikings at Lions. Detroit favored by 9.5. J.J. McCarthy returns for the Vikes. Deal or no deal?
Deal for me.
Me too. I should say JJ starting for the Vikes. LA Chargers at Tennessee. LA favored by 9.5. Deal or no deal?
No deal for me.
Okay, it's a deal for me. I think you're going to walk all over them. The Patriots, winners of 6 in a row, home to the Falcons. New England favored by 5.5. Deal or no deal?
Deal. I think they're real.
Me too. Put that down as the lock of the week from the RP show. Chicago Bears at the Cincinnati Bengals. Bears by 2.5. Deal or no deal?
I'm going to say deal. Actually.
Me too. Caleb Williams hasn't thrown a touchdown pass in 2 games. I think that'll change this week. Jacksonville at Las Vegas. Jaguars favored by 2.5. Deal or no deal?
Deal there. I just think the Raiders are struggling.
Sorry, Raiders. Sorry, Vegas. New Orleans at the LA Rams. LA by 14.5. They're Saints making a quarterback change. Deal or no deal?
I'm taking the deal. I know it's large, but I'm still taking the deal.
Yeah, me too. Saints, worst team in the NFL. Kansas City at Buffalo in the 4 p.m. Eastern window on Sunday. That's a biggie. Chiefs favored by 2.5 at the Bills. Deal or no deal?
No deal.
That's 2 of us, Joe. We're getting to the end. Your Washington Commanders, home to Seattle. Seahawks favored by 2.5. Deal or no deal?
I'm going to say deal on that.
Oh, he's given up on his Commanders. And Monday Night Football, Arizona Cardinals at America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas favored by 2.5. Cards have lost 5 in a row. Deal or no deal?
I'm going deal on that.
Okay, I'll take the deal too. Okay, Joe. That's our picks for Pump Jack's Steakhouse and Saloon. Come early, stay late. Watch NFL football plus the World Series at Pump Jack's. For the kids that come to the house, this is what we're handing out. How about you, Joe? What's on the menu at the Casa Gunness for the little trick-or-treaters on South Hill?
We're 100% in on the Twizzlers.
Oh, one of my favorites. Yep. Okay, are you going to be the guy that's going to cheap out and give them just the little rationed or the big pack? What are you doing?
They're little. I found a mid-size that's in between the two, so that we're not just chinching out on the little one. Like I don't want to give some kid 3 nibs right in a package. It's just not right. So,
well, hey, they're peanut free. Can you hang on to some of those until next summer? Would you mind some of those packages for me? Hopefully, they're not dried out by then.
I'll make sure there's a whole stock for you.
Okay. Thanks, Joe. Great job, my friend. Thanks for jumping on. Enjoy the World Series. By the way, when do the Jays win this thing? Tonight or Saturday?
Tonight. I really think they'll take it tonight. Hometown
okay,
makes a difference.
I love it. Absolutely. Let's get her done, boys. All right, Joe, thanks for jumping on. Have a great weekend. We'll be right back. Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and Game Plus TV.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon
and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. Welcome back. Oh, my hair's all messy from my witch hat. Oh, boy, should I put it back on? Happy Halloween, everybody. What a spooky, scary show it's been. It's been great work, producer Corey. By the way, might as well tell you now, you're going to be getting a text message from one of our regular viewers by the name of Wayne. He thinks you might have blocked him from watching the show on streaming, and he'd like to be unblocked. He's a P1 longtime viewer. Okay, I don't think you did block him. I feel like you only block jerks. Yeah, but he's going to be writing you. Yeah, he's going to be writing you. He is cool, but he's going to be writing you to figure out what the hell's going on and why he can't comment on our streaming chat. So it is what it is. Maybe it's a God shot. I'm not sure. Maybe he's not meant to. Anyways, this is Overtime, brought to you by Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, where skill and fun collide. It's that time of year. Team parties, office parties, birthday parties, Christmas parties, you name it. They got it handled. Licensed bar there. And it's a shooting factory. Baseball has batting cages. Golf has driving ranges. Why would hockey not have shooting lanes? Well, in Calgary, they do. And maybe coming to a city near you. Overtime Hockey Lanes. Check them out and tell them the RP Show sent you. Sports update here for our friends at Ultimate Fan Zone. Your home for your jerseys, collectibles, and all the gear you need. That's where I get all my Blue Jays stuff. That's a fact. The split-finger fastball is making a comeback with its usage in the postseason doubling from last year in MLB. World Series Game 6 starters Kevin Gausman and Yoshinobu Yamamoto have been leading the charge. Toronto used splitters a league-high 9.3% of the time during the regular season. Gausman has thrown his splitter 41.4% of the time in the postseason. The pitch was popularized by players like Bruce Sutter and Jack Morris back in the day, but its use declined due to injury concerns. But now with advancements in pitching design, pitchers have found new ways to grip and use it effectively. Watch for that tonight in Game 6 with Gausman on the bump for the Blue Jays in an elimination game. The majority of people are saying it ends tonight. Let's just end it, Jays, okay? From the NFL, breaking news today, the Miami Dolphins, Florida's version of the Dallas Cowboys, have fired their general manager, Chris Greer. That was announced in a statement by owner Stephen Ross Friday morning. Mike McDaniel will be coaching, though, for the rest of the year, they say. They lost last night, the Dolphins 28-6 on Thursday Night Football to Lamar and the Ravens dropping to 2-7. Christian McCaffrey, Roquan Smith, and Von Miller were the best trade deadline acquisitions over the past 4 years in the NFL. Now teams are looking to bolster their playoff hopes this year for a run at the Super Bowl. They got until 4 p.m. Tuesday to make a trade. Of course, it takes two to make a deal. Several moves have been made already. The Bengals acquired Joe Flacco. The Rams got cornerback Roger McCreary. The Eagles added cornerback Michael Carter II. Defensive end Keon White went to the 49ers. Safety Kyle Duggar was traded to the Steelers already. The Jaguars and Browns swapped cornerbacks Greg Newsome II and Tyson Campbell a few weeks ago. It's all added up to trade deadlines kind of being a fizzle. And I sit here and go, as a guy that has covered sports for decades and having worked for teams and been on the front lines when the trade deadlines are going down. This was, when I started doing it, it was pre-internet. It was faxing in your trade just before the deadline at 2 p.m. Eastern. And it's like, in retrospect, why did they wait? Why did we wait? You know, and now is not the time with a couple minutes left on the program today to go deep into this stuff. But, you know, I did come up from the old guard, because that's the way it's always been done. Producer Corey would understand this. You've been on the other end of those conversations, Corey, and what you do and what I do. So why would we change it? It's what we've always done. Not anymore. And the teams that are winning are getting the jump on the trades and doing it months before. Why did we wait? When I say we, I mean the teams, when I was with the teams. Oh, all these things are flooding my mind when I sit here and think about this. So the NFL trade deadline is Tuesday afternoon. And I don't anticipate there will be a lot of moves. The one name that I've heard is Kirk Cousins. It may depend on what the Falcons do this weekend at the Patriots. Not that Kirk Cousins is the future of the Atlanta Falcons. It's clearly Michael Penix. But they've been circling the toilet as of late. So we'll see. But that's a fascinating chat or concept that I should have got into with Jim Barker. But he was on a roll. And it really is interesting to sit here and talk about these types of things, like with what he talked about earlier, the coaching buyouts. That was all the talk last night at Cardinal Gibbons High School as I was announcing for the Chiefs seniors night. Thanks again, Chiefs, for having me. Big win over the Patriots last night. That was just amongst the football people in the press box that I was with, was the buyouts and the coaches down on the field. We're sitting here getting ready for a pretty big high school game in America. And the talk is of so-and-so, this coach is getting $50 million to go away. This coach is getting $70 million to go away. And they're just peeing away money. And it's interesting with Jim Barker saying these schools, these boosters that are donating this money, they got tired fast of burning money. And that's why LSU fired their AD, Scott Woodward. I would assume, I haven't really delved into it. But it's just exciting to see how things after all these years of, because that's the way it's always been. How dare you question me? To now, NIL's here. We've got millions to spend. How are we going to spend it? And you better win. Because if we don't, your ass is on the line. That's where it gets fun. For guys like me to sit back and watch and talk about it. Anyways, where was I? The sports update is brought to you by Ultimate Fan Zone Store, Moose Jaw. Get your game day gear in store or online at ultimatefanzone.ca. Golden Knights home tonight, one of 3 NHL games. Colorado's in town. Also the Islanders at Washington, Detroit at Anaheim. Whatever sports you indulge in, be safe, enjoy them, and we'll see you back here on Monday. Thanks for a great week. Thanks today for Jim Barker, Joe Gunnis, Kevin the Medium, producer Corey. We'll see you Monday right back here on the Game Plus Television Network. We will be live Monday back across Canada and, as always, across Nevada right here on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network.
That